My name is Mark Followill. You're listening to another dumb podcast. These guys are freaking morons.
Going? Oh, it's going. Oh, we're recording now. Okay. So let's back up. The Mavericks played the Celtics tonight, and they won 127 to 120.
Yeah, apparently. I haven't watched a game since the trade went down.
You're a true believer. Oh, man, why is this not going down? Sorry.
I'm committed to the bet. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I got some big H's, and I shouldn't have. I was like, when did the trade go down? Saturday night, Sunday. I was like ready to go like Monday, and I'm really glad I didn't, because I think I could compose myself a little bit better, and kind of like make a cogent argument and go, yeah, this is where they fucked up, and this is where they, But we're gonna back up, because I think my Mavericks fandom is, I think, different than other ones. My fandom was, I grew up as a baseball fan. You're watching the Texas Rangers every night. You're watching Cowboys on Sundays. Stars kind of came in around the mid to late 90s for me. And the Mavericks, for, I would say, a majority of my childhood, were a complete fucking joke.
right.
Okay. All through the 90s, I know it might be different from you. I think maybe did they have some good times in the 80s, I think, where they were halfway presentable. I don't know. But
Yeah, I mean, in the 80s, they were kind of the model expansion franchise, because they came into the league, I believe, in 1980. And in their fourth season, they made the playoffs and actually beat Seattle in the classic Moody Madness game.
right.
So that's kind of where my fandom kind of took off, because I became a fan of Mark Aguirre, Rolando Blackman, Derek Harper, Brad Davis, Jay Vincent,
Brad Davis,
Sam Perkins along the way.
Yeah.
So they had some nice playoff runs. It's just they always kept running into the Lakers.
Right.
You know.
But you were, again, with the 80s, you were not going to win anything, obviously, with having the Lakers, and, that was just never going to happen.
I mean, the high water mark was 88 when they got to the Western Conference Finals, and, they took the Lakers to 7 games. They just couldn't win a game out in LA. They held home court, which was impressive, but then after that, it just kind of all fell apart. And much like they traded Luka, they traded Mark Aguirre, and at that time, my fandom kind of took a little bit of a hit. They did make the playoffs once in 90, but they got swept in the first round, and everybody kind of knows what happened after that in the 90s. And,
Well, so, yeah, I mean, just to kind of explain that. And then it obviously ramped up significantly in the 2000s. I would say the hit the peak moment. I mean, like, where my mom was watching the Mavericks. That's why I always say, like, I can always gauge when everybody's engaged. When, okay, my dad will watch a game here and there, but my mom is like going like, what's going on? And that was peak Mavs fandom around 2006.
right.
And then, I even remember where I was, the time when they blew it against Golden State. I remember the Denver Nuggets blow up. I mean, there's all types of, heartbreaks that we had there along the way. And then in 2011, I remember looking at this team, and this is during my real big sports ticket. I mean, ticket was on all the time. I mean, every moment of every day, the ticket is on. And I remember going, I'm watching every one of these Mavs games. I don't think I missed but 1 or 2 Mavs games that season when they won the title. So when they won the title, I was like, fuck yeah, this team's fucking incredible. And then it took another hit, obviously, with just the just lackluster of like, you've won a title and that was your defense. And your defense was just piss poor. Did they even make the fucking playoffs that year? Yeah, I think they did, but
The year after they won the title, they did, and they got swept by Oklahoma City, and that was basically because Mark Cuban misread the
yeah,
new collective bargaining agreement and tore the team down.
It's crazy that he misread a lot of things. Who would have saw that down the road? He would be misreading all types of cues and things that are coming upon in the future. Fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I had to say, my fandom recently has really it's waned quite a bit. I think I would say the peak is between 2006 to 2011. It is waned past that. I don't know if it's kind of like, well, I did get a fucking title out of it. It was fucking great. And you're seeing the teams and they're just like, I don't think they can replicate. I just don't think you could replicate of what that storyline was from this little German kid that has went to the NBA Finals, failed, and then finally hitting it, and you're just like, there's no way they're going to replicate that. And
right.
And then they end up falling upon this guy from Slovenia named Luka Doncic, and they're like, how'd y'all fuck around and get this shit?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't make this up. So the Mavs get Luka Doncic, and it's just like, wow, okay, they have... And for me, I was already kind of out, but I'm listening to Jacob, I'm listening to other people, and I'm like, yeah, how good exactly is he? He's like, think of Dirk, and then like quadruple that, or not quadruple, but he's just like, he's fucking unreal.
Right.
And, you know, and I remember, but I watched and I go, I mean, there's things that are just undeniable. I can't go, well, he actually does this thing and blah, blah, blah. No, he's fucking incredible. He's the best fucking player I'm not saying I've ever seen, but, you know, he has just some qualities just like, fuck, how does he fucking do this shit?
He's a generational talent.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's coming off the heels of having the best big man shooter from Europe play for your franchise for 21 years.
Yeah.
And only your team.
And yeah,
it got to the point where teams didn't even call him or his agent when free agency opened because they knew he was re-signing with the Mets.
Yeah, I remember kind of, you know, and there were all, forgive me if I'm wrong, there may have been like little talks of, oh, after 2006, maybe trade him off and he restart and do this and you can get this guy. There had all been little talks, but then after 2011, you're kind of like, no, Dirk's here forever. He's going to be here forever. It's just how it's going to be. And like I've been hearing over and over, something about these Europeans, they have undying loyalty. They don't kind of have that, like, I want to play for the Lakers. They didn't grow up. I mean, maybe they did grow up watching the Lakers, but not like how Americans did.
Right.
You know, the kids who are coming up today playing AAU and all that other shit, you know, the Lakers, the Knicks, and all these other teams. Those teams were coveted, you know, by some of the Americans. The other ones are like, I don't know, I kind of, you know, like, I don't know if Jokic doesn't. What's his name? Jokic. I always get these stupid.
Nikola.
Yeah.
Just call him Joker.
Joker. I know, but I would say, like, does anybody know what I'm saying? When I say the Joker, you know, I don't think that guy likes anywhere, but he's like, Denver, okay. I could fuck with Denver. I don't know why he sounds like that to me when he talks, but he sounds like a little Russian guy. I think he's He's Serbian.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a Slavic accent.
Yeah.
Anybody that's from Eastern Europe has that.
I love just the anti-Kobe things. They're like, tell us how excited you are about this. I'm not very excited. It's okay. How does this rank up with you as your top moments? He's like, it's not very high. It's okay. Just, I kind of like that. You know, that attitude.
A very dry sense of humor, basically.
I don't know if it's dry humor. He's just like, I am.
No, it actually is.
You think it is? Okay.
Well, I mean, if you see him during All-Star weekend, react with Luka,
Oh,
they kind of play off one
oh
another.
yeah, yeah. I've seen that, but it's not like. But when he's when he's won the championship, and they're like, when's the parade? Thursday? Fuck! Like, I want to go home. I got a horse race or something like that. I'm just like, fuck. This guy just was like, he hit the pinnacle, but is it the pinnacle for him? He's like, yeah. He literally is like, I play this good and I'm gonna win, but I kind of hate that I win because if you win, you have to keep playing. And he's like, I don't really. I'd almost prefer to go home, but I'm also not gonna let that motherfucker beat me too. So, okay, so move on. So I just want to give an overlaying of how my fandom is with this. Now, last year with them going to the finals, I kind of was like, I was pretty all in. I was like, yeah, this is fucking great. Let's go. Let me put up a little bit of my caveats with Luka. Now there's those things that you just can't deny. Like, he's fucking incredible. I don't exactly know if the whole conditioning thing is a thing. I think it's something that was annoying for the organization because they're like, oh, we're about to put $70 million into your ass. Like, could you get on a treadmill every now and then? I don't know.
No, it was a lot more than that they were going to do.
Well, yeah.
Closer to about 300 million.
Well, I know, but like 70 million a year and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of money to just go jump in. Is this guy going to just, could he come in one day and just be like, I'm tired. Like, I just can't do it. Like, but my caveat with him, he does incredible things. There are a few things that kind of bother me about him. Yes, his conditioning could be better. Now, I've heard arguments about this whole thing about his body type, that it may not actually be good, that if he was lacking of weight or if he was like some ripped dude, whatever. Like, but it's a kind of undeniable when he got into the league to what he looks like. Actually, I think he looks actually a lot better now than he did maybe a year or two ago. But I can see the pros and cons of that. I would prefer him, like, I hate to be like a thing. This is your fucking job. You don't have another job. You don't like, oh, I got to work during the day and then I got to play it. Your fucking job is to like hustle your ass at fucking basketball. So shooting the fucking basketball, working out, you get done with the game, you got to work out more. Like, that's your fucking job. So that is a little annoying. I don't know what his work ethic is. I don't really know. I don't really care, honestly, because again, he's only 25. Like, I would kind of be like, I'm kind of awesome. Like, what, like, but you know how, like, with Dirk, they said with Dirk, he didn't kind of really get serious until he was around his late 20s to 30s or whatever. Like, really serious.
And you can tell because, when he came in in 98 and 99, he was
very
kind of a
skinny,
stick figure.
Stream being.
He wasn't Sean Bradley, but
yeah,
you could tell, from a physique standpoint that he put on a lot more weight and did take conditioning. And I don't know how much weight training he actually did because, he had Holger coming in doing those weird exercises, but, it worked for him.
No, but that was the point where, too, then he was able to get a little bit more physical because he would get kind of pushed around in the league, which, again, not enough people give fucking Dirk enough credit for how physical he was in the fucking paint. I fucking love it. I anything else, I've heard some fucking dipshits who talk shit about Dirk, and they're all like, oh man, he didn't do shit.
He's soft.
He's soft. I was like, dude, he's a bad motherfucker in the paint, and he was no fucking pussy, and that's what you'll want to love in a player. And so, regardless of the physical things, okay, Luka and the referees. I don't know. I think that's what it's always been like in the league, but it is a little annoying because it seems like he takes it a little too far.
He does,
He
and
did,
there would be plays where he would not hustle back on defense because he was yelling
still
at the
screaming.
refs, and
And I've even heard from Jake
Right.
Kemp, who went to a game and he was like, "I'm there to report." He does that shit all damn the game. The camera's off or whatever. He's still fucking jawing at it. So I just don't know. I feel like the thing about Dirk, and again, I'm gonna have to compare it to Dirk because that's who we were all comparing him to. Dirk was always a real chill guy. Like nothing bothered him. He would then get upset at times, but a lot of times he was just, you know,
he did kick an exercise bike after Game 5 in the '06 finals,
that's true. They did deserve that though.
but he had very good reason to.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when Dwayne Wade shoots as many free throws as the entire Mavericks team does,
You're gonna bring that up. It's so funny how it brings me up to that bar that I was in Austin. That's where I will watch that game and just going, "What the fuck is going on?" Like I fucking can't stand that. He's got to go to the fucking line again. Yeah. Third thing, I don't really, and I guess it's not his game, but I think he could draw a little bit more in the paint like Dirk did and shoot better. I don't think he's near what Dirk's is in his free throws. I'm not going to pull up stats. This is just like a feeling thing. So sorry for the sabermetrics folks out there. I'm not going to do that tonight, but it's just
one of my friends happened to listen to the Norm podcast, and it's like 21 minutes long, and he did point out that amongst guards, Doncic does have one of the lower 3-point shooting percentage and should be a better free throw shooter than he is now.
Right.
So I think those are valid concerns. Such as the conditioning, I think, is also something that's a valid concern.
Yeah. So it's like, again, we have valid concerns over Luka. Now
but we've seen him basically drag two teams to the NBA Finals and to the Western Conference Finals in the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So you just kind of like it's something you need to get better at.
You're gonna nudge him
older,
and you're gonna nudge him in the right direction. Like say, hey,
it's not worth trading him over.
I would literally
this notion of
Luka
can't take us to the champion. That's you don't fucking know that.
Yeah, you don't know that. And what if
it's insane?
And what if
it's a bigger gamble
better?
Yeah,
he gets better, and then we move even further, and then you build other people up around him like they've been doing. So a lot of it just honestly just doesn't make sense. It's well, some of it does make sense, and then some of it actually is becoming a little clearer. Actually, as I've, again, like I said, I'm glad I'm doing the podcast now here on a Thursday night compared to a Monday morning when you're just flying off the handle like, yeah, they're going to sell the team not sell the team. They're going to move the team to Vegas. They're going to do this. I mean, like all the wild conspiracies that went along with it.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to actually happen.
No, I don't think so at all. No.
Now, is it possible that the fan base could be so upset that they just stop going to the Mavericks games and the AAC starts looking like Reunion did in the 90s? Perhaps, depending on how bad things get.
I think that's in the short term. And again, we're such like, I think we have such I'm trying to think of a monkey brain, but whatever. We have such short-term memory. Like no one, I mean, I'm not saying there are going to be people that are just not going to watch the Mavericks ever again. But they go and draft somebody or they get a trade from somebody and they're like, well, I got to watch that guy fucking play. So this too will pass, but it doesn't negate the hurt that it did for the whole thing. So
and I think the more stuff that comes out is just kind of making it a little bit more rage inducing because it's not so much. I mean, it's bad enough that you trade him, but the process to trade him to where you only speak to
one team,
your old buddy, and just because it was your old buddy, it was Kobe's agent, and while you were his shoe rep. Which I do want to kind of point out, Jake and Dan on the Dumb Zone did a interview with Ethan Strauss, and
Great
they've
interview.
posted it on their YouTube. Okay, it's like 52 minutes long. It's worth watching.
Great
because
interview.
I think when you watch it, all the pieces of the puzzle kind of fall into place. And I think one key thing that Ethan mentioned on there is that he was Kobe's shoe rep, and if there's one thing that Kobe was known for was that he was hell bent on conditioning, waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, working out at the gym at his house. And if they would go on vacation, he would rent out a gym. I don't know if that's like a 24-hour fitness or something, or maybe a basketball gym, but that Nico's obviously not a basketball guy, but he hangs around basketball guys because that was part of his old job. And he kind of saw the work that Kobe put in, especially later in his career, since we touched on Dirk embracing some conditioning. And Luka was kind of the antithesis of that.
Yeah, but
so when he talks about culture, that's kind of what I think he's probably pointing at. Again, I'm not justifying the trade in any way because I think it's going to go down as one of the worst trades in NBA history.
Yes,
maybe sports history.
But for a guy who's like, the whole thing is like selling whoever like hey, we want you to come here. Boy, did he do a fucking terrible job of trying to sell this to the public. Because number one, the whole thing of it, we're going to throw out that fucking bullshit ass press conference. What a shit show. Just a piss right on our heads.
From the very beginning.
The piss on our heads fucking press conference. Laughing. We're having a good time. Fuck. Just a fuck you to everybody who is just like,
where's the PR department there?
Oh, they couldn't got, hey, Nico, you need to really have a stern kind of like, this is business, and I, just like fucking hearing that dumb motherfucker laugh and giggle like this is a fucking hilarious thing. I don't know. So going to the Ethan Strauss interview, the big takeaways that I took from that, and again, another story I want to get into is Mark Cuban is taking the biggest. He is going loud on the trade. No, I'm sorry, he's not going loud on the trade. He's going loud on Elon Musk taking USAID money right now.
It's kind of gaslighting, really.
It's so fucking infuriating because Mark Cuban gets this fun little pass and also gets to go, wow, this would have never happened to Mark Cuban. I agree, but this wouldn't have happened if Mark Cuban hadn't. I mean, I get his. No, I don't get his reasoning for even selling the team was fucking horseshit to me. But this motherfucker hired this Nico guy, and as a kind of, the whole thing with Mark Cuban, I guess he doesn't get as much flack because he's not a huge Jerry Jones type like guy who's like, we're gonna do the, but he is like a Jerry Jones light. There's some of those things that he can't do, and I think he realizes those things. But he does have the final, like, hey, I want that fucking guy. Can we get that guy? And no, I don't want that guy. He is, every owner and whatever has their final say. So, but he hired Nico, and it was a combination of, I'm still gonna do kind of like the business development type thing where I have these relationships with the players. I'm trying to woo them. That was a real big thing that I think Mark Cuban was good at. I don't know. I still think he's kind of sucked at it too. There's quite a few players I think I could read the cringe on him.
Well, the running joke when Cuban was running the Mavs and Donnie Nelson had the title of GM was, especially when it came to free agency is we got to keep the powder dry. We got to keep the powder dry because nobody, for whatever reason, wanted to come here except for DeAndre Jordan for about 5 minutes before he changed his mind.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why the thinking of hiring Nico was that Nico was good with networking and good with relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is ironic because of the way that the Luka trade was handled and how horribly it was handled. But again, the thinking when he was hired is we'll be able to target certain free agents, and then Nico can use his connections in the shoe world to try to lure them here.
But isn't it like the duality of man and like the whole thing with it? Like he would do these really good things. And I remember when they hired Nico. We're at the end in like 10 minutes, but regardless.
Okay.
The whole thing with Nico, for me, was like, how is this going to work? And for me, I know the Lakers hired an agent of some sort of like that.
They hired Rob Pelinka as the GM.
Who was
which you could really see where the difference between Pelinka's skills and Nico's skills because he completely depantsed him.
Oh my god!
Negotiation.
Just basically butt fucked your friend, and you're just like, thanks, Nico, appreciate it. And you're just like, wow, that's pretty.
So you want to trade Luka?
Yeah,
and that quite honestly, that should have been his first clue that what, this isn't a good idea.
No.
When you actually when your best friend thinks that you are actually joking, and when Patrick Dumont, who apparently is a basketball idiot, the governor of the Mavs now, says the same thing.
Yeah, and I feel like I could go all day with this, but here's what I will say though. Nobody, let me tell you, the Mavs really don't care. They're still going to make tons of money. They really, I would just, I just want to tell people that sports are important in a way. They really are. I think they give you a nice kind of, if you have kids and having the bond with them to do that and kind of get your mind off work, But I really think fandom is a terrible, terrible thing because it
has its limits.
The teams that y'all root for don't fucking care about you. And they never have. I mean, half of the, during COVID, they had no fans and were like, yeah, we're going to fucking play. They don't really need y'all. They've already got half the fucking money. More than half the money in some of these TV contracts. Thankfully, the TV contracts are kind of tanking, which is kind of like a, big fuck you to be like, sorry, you're not allowed to exploit us anymore. Maybe you can make it endearing for people to come out and see your fucking baseball team or football team or anyone else. But if they really don't fucking care, then you shouldn't care. Okay? So when I see people, like, I understand people are upset. I get that. I was upset in a way of like, I'm just fucking tired of these stupid fucking teams just kind of stringing people along and just doing, you can tell when a franchise is truly trying, like, I would say, like, I know everybody gives people a lot of shit on Kansas City Chiefs come off as the organization that really fucking tries to do the best they can in winning football games and being successful for their fans. Do they kind of fuck around with them? I'm sure they do. I'm sure they will, blah, blah, blah. But most teams, like the Cowboys, they don't give a fuck about you. We didn't even talk about Brian Steinmeier. Like, they don't fucking care. Oh, you're mad about it? Oh, okay. What you gonna do on Sunday? Something else? Nope. You're gonna watch this motherfucking game every week because that's what you're known to do.
Buying tickets.
You're gonna keep buying your dumb fucking hat.
You're going out to Oxnard.
Exactly. So fuck you. You're not gonna do a goddamn thing about it. That's the whole thing with me. I mean, like, I'm not saying people need to be bandwagoners or whatever. I think you need to like the team that you want to like. I think you should support local teams, but it's kind of in the same sense, like, there's not really local teams. Half the fucking people weren't from here, like, or some of them do have some kind of hometown feel, but people were kind of comparing Corey Seager. And I'm like, I love fucking Corey. My dog's name is Corey. Like, I love Corey Seager, but we're not gonna feel the same hurt when Corey Seager leaves that we felt with Luka, or if we had Dirt traded away. It's just not the same. And I just say right now, it's a fucked up situation. And I would just say, go outside, though. Just go outside. Like, you just need to go do something else. Play with your kids. But I understand also. Okay, one last thing. We have like 5 minutes left. Don't record your kid telling them fucked up shit and then posting it online. That is really fucked up. Okay?
Right.
And I will say,
you're just doing that for engagement.
You're doing that for engagement. I don't know what the fuck it is. I know Blake did.
Especially if you're a radio host and your sister sending it in.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. That was disturbing. Okay. Just don't do that. Okay.
It was cringe.
That was very cringe. You know who you are. I really don't have anything else. This is gonna be a nice, quick episode, just because I gotta go to bed too. I'm over here on the East Coast, so I'm already dragging ass here. So, yeah. But all I'll say is just go outside and do something else. Luka's gonna be just fun. The whole thing is like, I feel bad for Luka. He's probably crying. I'm like, yeah, it's the meme of Woody Harrelson with dollar bills in his like wife in his day. He was probably sad, but like more or less like betrayed. But Luka's gonna be fine. He's gonna have more money than God. I mean, Luka's fine. Trust me. Luka's gonna be fucking fine. He probably will win more championships than he, was going. I don't know. Maybe not. Give or take. I think probably
maybe not. I think Oklahoma City might have something to say about that.
No, I'm saying like if Luka was going to stay here or if he was going to go to the Lakers, how many championships do you think he's going to win? Who knows? But I don't think he's going to win any more or less. I don't know. So everyone, chill the fuck out. Turns out DEI was real. Just in this instance, I don't want to get all up in arms, but it seems like DEI really took a hold on this one. So
even Jake kind of had to admit it.
Oh, he was like, I got to go to the Republican National Convention now. Like, fuck.
At least in this particular, yeah, I'm a Republican now. Just fell on the chair when you said that.
Everybody has their breaking points, and whenever you fuck around with a basketball team, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah. Any final thoughts? You have 90 seconds. No.
So I do think that I don't think this is going to work from Nico's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he feels like he's changing the culture, but I think ultimately, this type of fan anger, typically with DFW sports fans, we'll get upset about something, but then kind of let it float away. Like even with the whole Josh Hamilton being mad at him signing with the Angels,
mm-hmm.
That kind of went away after like half a year. I don't know that this is ever going to go away. Now, if the Mavs do start winning, then things might change. But I don't see this working, and I don't see Nico being GM of this team within a year. I know Bob Sturm said 18 months. I don't even think it'll last a year.
Nice. I think in 18 months is pretty safe, but a year could happen. But we'll have to see. But I think it will. I think it will. Actually, I heard. Again, they played good tonight, but I think in the long term of it,
it's one game.
Yeah, it's one game. We'll see, but it just doesn't make any sense. You just go. You remember that guy who was fucking awesome like 10 years ago? We need to get that fucking guy in here. Hold on. Was he in the league 10 years ago? AD?
Who?
AD? Yeah, he's like 31 now.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he was in the league. So, okay. Well, we're wrapping it up. We'll be back next time. I mean, maybe in March.
Whenever.
All right,
Maybe
man.
by the time Luka comes back.
Yeah, maybe so. All right. See y'all later.
All right.